Mr. Harris.
Yeah.
We found your kids.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank you so much.
We found your wife, too.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the acting of Robert Carlyle in that silence after that.
Yeah. I know.
Awesome.
So good. So good. Okay. Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Mike, and with me are my co-hosts,
Sam
and
Chad.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also check out our website, screamsandstreams.com, for more information about the films we are looking at. Just a warning, if you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today, we are looking at the second film in the 28 series as we get ready for the release of 28 Years Later for our episode next week. It is Juan Carlos Fresnadillo's 2007 film. 28 weeks later, it scored 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's get into it. Chad, can you give us our summary, please?
Sure. 6 months after the original epidemic, the rage virus has all but annihilated the population of the British Isles. Nevertheless, the U.S. Army declares the danger past, and American soldiers arrive to restore order and begin reconstruction. Refugees return to British soil, but one of them carries a deadly secret. The virus is not gone and is even more dangerous than before.
Uh-oh.
Row is right. All right. Thank you for that. Let's get into our sinister sip for the film. For this one, we are drinking the Rage Elixir from Bar GPT.
Ooh.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
It smells boozy.
That is tasty.
I like that one. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
it doesn't taste boozy.
Oh.
It smells like you're going to get, but it's really, really good.
And it's just an ounce and a half of amaretto, an ounce of lime juice, an ounce of orange juice, a half ounce of ginger syrup, a dash of Angostura bitters, and a splash of soda water.
That's really, really good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, this is really good.
Great summer punch.
Yeah, it's quite tasty. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the second film in the series, but we still want to give our first impressions. Sam, what did you think of this film?
So I've seen it before, but I think only once. And it was when it first came out. So I was like a teenager. I didn't really remember much of it. I didn't remember that it was like a repopulation type thing for some reason. All I kind of remembered prior to watching was the stadium helicopter pickup scene.
Okay.
Kind of at the very end. Other than that, obviously knew the rage virus. I watched the 28 Days Later right before, but it felt like a really fresh watch for me because I didn't remember much of it. So overall, I enjoyed it. It was a good movie and I would watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Chad, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I watched it and I remember seeing that beginning part and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I have seen this before. But then didn't really remember anything until not the helicopter at the end, but the helicopter going through
yes.
zombies and whipping them all up.
Yep.
I remember that scene and I remember thinking it was super badass. So
yep.
I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But all the rest of the film, I didn't really have a recollection of. So it was nice to watch it again or maybe for the first time and just have seen those scenes before. I don't know. But anyways, it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Again, still built tension, used music effectively. Really enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And for me, it's the same thing. I know that I saw this when it came out because I loved the first one. So I knew I'd watch the sequel, but I had no memory really either.
Isn't that funny that we've all seen it, but we all were just I only remember a bit.
Glimpses of it.
And especially in comparison to the first one where we're I remember these scenes
This one didn't live with me at all. And so I think I only saw it the one time. I revisited the other one far more. As a sequel and sort of where they had to take the universe, I enjoyed it.
Yep.
But watching these two back to back, it is by far the weaker of the two.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did enjoy it. It's just, even the helicopter scene, rewatching it, I was like, oh my God, that is so good. And I was like, I think I have flashes of thinking it was good, but no memory of seeing it. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into our tropes Hall of Shame. Sam, what were some of your tropes?
Americans save the day.
That's
And then my other one was hiding in an air vent. So going into the vent system. I was like, I don't know if they would actually hold up That boy was pretty old to
Yeah.
be up in there.
He was pretty
but-
big, yeah.
Yeah.
But if John McClane can do it,
It's true. And I was
can
like,
do
a
it.
grown ass man fit in there and go through there. So I was like, so they must be really strong, really sturdy ventilation.
all right. Thank you. And my first trope was just, people that are hiding and trying to stay safe. And then there's a stranger at the door looking for help.
Oh,
when
yeah.
The young boy's knocking. And the engine won't start when Robert Carlyle's trying to get away and he's got to keep pulling on the ripcord while
Oh,
they
yeah.
Yeah.
start swarming. Chad, what were some of your tropes?
I had we'll never be separated, and then we're separated.
Yeah.
So that was one of mine. I also had the military one that Sam did, but I also had, with regards to the military, overexcited military wanting combat.
Yeah.
Like, when are we going to get to see some battle and stuff like that? And it's like, this virus destroyed this area. Like, why are you excited
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be shooting these? So anyways, it was that. And I'll just do my last one if I could.
Sure.
It was not listening to the professionals in the handling of the virus.
Right.
So she comes in and is giving them what they should do. And he's like, well, we're not doing that. We're opening it up. And well, what happens if the virus gets loose again? We'll go code red. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that
just
worked.
0 to 100.
Yeah.
We will
exactly.
carpet bomb and kill, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, literally no one listened to her. And she's
No.
like, we don't bring in kids. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, we did. So
Oh, well, they
And
need
it
to come in
ended-
here too.
ended poorly.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, we need to do blood tests and we need to do this and don't kill her because she could have a vaccine in there. And they're like, no,
Yeah.
gonna do all the things that you don't want us to.
Like, yeah, you go.
The men are talking.
Yeah. It's gonna be the greatest summer ever.
My last few tropes, the firebomb or like carpet bombing the entire area to eradicate the code red. And then genetic carriers of the cure. We must keep them alive at all costs.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. They went back to their house, opened the door, and doom sprinted in. Let's talk about the bad choices made in this film as we go into our don't go back into the house section. And so mine was just, they absolutely rushed the return.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
they haven't cleared the city. They haven't checked anything. It's like, let's just bring the citizens in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, just-
We're all good.
It's all good.
Like, they could just repopulate a little bit later. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And like clean up the entire place. Like, I don't know. I have so many questions about the whole thing. Like, their incinerator process is like, you'd think they would have had a better system of burning things instead
Yeah.
of just like in a hole on the side of the
Yeah.
road.
Or leaving bags of biohazardous materials
Yes.
on
Everywhere.
the streets.
And they're still doing the cleanup while they're
Yes.
getting people to come in and
Yeah.
they're like just throwing it on the street. I was like, okay,
And the kid's like, oh, okay, welcome home.
let's go play on the mountain.
Sam, what could have prevented the disaster of this film for you?
I have a couple options here. So that one, like waiting a little bit to repopulate. But for the first part, don't let the kid into the house. Like, kids in survival situations are the worst. They're such a like,
Yeah.
They're,
loud and
they're loud. They stomp around. They can't walk on tippy toes. They are always stomping. They don't have inside voices. They make stupid decisions. Like, they're
Yeah.
terrible. Cry. I don't know. Anyways, don't do that. I said, maybe don't leave your wife. Like, because that would have prevented like that. And then the kids
that
also.
comes back later for me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure we will talk about that.
And then the kids could have followed the one rule of not leaving and not crossing the river.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about? Like, I mean, they were just
It was
told
the first
that
day.
they had to stay in, and then they're just like, well, we're just going to go home.
Did you
Yeah.
see the t-shirt he gave her? She had to go get different
Bush
clothes.
League decision. Yeah, it was just
Absolutely terrible.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then my other one was maybe putting more security on the bridge to leave the quarantine zone. And
Yeah,
they're all like,
yeah.
there's like 3 guys just talking, and they're like,
All facing, let's all talk and face in this direction.
yeah,
Yeah.
the wrong direction. Yeah. So those were my several moments that could have prevented.
Yeah.
All right. Chad, what about you? What could have prevented this film?
Well, I think listening to medical professionals would have helped.
Yep.
Right? I agree with you that they brought people in way too early. The place wasn't even cleaned up. And also, when the kids got away, I thought the exact same thing as Sam. It's just like, where's the security?
Yeah.
Like, the one sniper on the building is saying, hey, these guys are getting away.
Yeah.
And he radios that in, and nobody does anything until they get to the house and they're jumping on a trampoline and they're having just a good old time. Like,
Time.
it's just, it's guys, like, this is not how you quarantine an area. Like,
Yeah.
it just seemed, it was like, we need to get these guys to set this up so we can get the story moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just shut it down, keep it shut down. It's not ready.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, nobody listened to the doctor and nobody really heeded the sniper's alert, but some lines in this film did stay true or stand out. So, Chad, give us some of your one-liners.
all right, I didn't have many, just like the other one. I don't know. I did enjoy the film, but I was watching it. But the one that I really, really liked was right at the beginning. It's been 5 days since your boyfriend ran out on us. If he comes back, it won't be for the fucking pasta. It'll be your fucking neck.
Nice. All right. Sam, what were some of your one-liners?
Mine was kind of like a conversation between Flynn and Doyle. So they're sitting there, they are looking through their scopes, going through, and then it's when they're kind of joking and saying, give me something to shoot. And then Flynn goes, too easy, medical sector, east side, fat guy, jerking off in the toilet. And then he goes, bug nuts. I saw him yesterday. And
Bug nuts?
Bug nuts, yeah. I had to look it up to be like, really? Is that what he said? I was like, or is my subtitle wrong? And then another soldier goes, I don't see him. Where is Fester Fucknut? And then the rooftop soldier goes, look there, bald guy with his dick in his hands on the 20th floor. So it's just like,
wow,
so I thought that was kind of interesting regardless. And then my second one was when they've done the code red, but they've lost control. And Stone goes, abandon selective targeting, shoot everything. Targets are now free.
Yeah.
And then it's that like, we've lost control. And then it's just like,
And they just open up. Yeah.
What I was shocked by was like those soldiers are 100% the perfect soldier because no questioning other than Doyle, but everyone else is like, okie dokie, switch to rapid. It just took everybody out.
It took them a minute to go to rapid fire. Like I was like, they need more than just these snipers. They need like some machine guns. And then they came in. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
The line for me is just because it's like obviously something's going to happen. But when the kids are locked in the room and the alarm starts going off and the soldier's like, everything's fine. Don't worry. I'll be back in a minute.
oh, that's almost a trope in itself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Dies instantly.
Yeah.
So he died quickly, and in the film, time moves fast, unlike some of the dated moments in the film. So let's get into what doesn't hold up. Sam, what didn't hold up for you in the film?
Some of these we've already talked about. I had them not having security in the district besides the snipers. Like you don't really see soldiers walking around, and they were able to leave so quickly, right away. And then I also said they spoiled the movie right away, like with the kid with the two colored eyes.
Oh,
the
yeah.
conversation we're like, oh, because I didn't catch that from the mom at the beginning. Like I wasn't really focusing on that, but that could have come up later as more of like a surprise and just let it be known instead of spoiling it right away. We're like, oh, okay, it's something with the eyes and like,
Yeah, for sure. Chad, what did you have that doesn't hold up?
Mine doesn't hold up is I don't believe that one infected guy would be able to go so freely through the base and infect so many people. If he's got the rage virus, he's not thinking to use his pass card.
Yeah.
So I didn't believe, I was like, why is nobody picking this guy up? Like, where is the security?
Where's the security?
Around?
Like,
and was there no cameras in that room of the girl that's already infected? Like they wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
But they would have been monitoring her. There would have been like heart rate monitors. There would have been everything on her. And he gets infected and then kills her. And there's nothing done. He just gets out and gets away.
well, and he's allowed to go in without any surveillance. Like this is like
his access all area card. Like I get that he's the maintenance guy, so he needs to get into places, but he does not need to get into the medical facilities.
No, there would have been some restrictions on his card. Like just because you clean up doesn't mean you get access everywhere.
No. Yeah. There would have at least been a guy on the other side of the door.
Yes.
Like,
not unsupervised access.
Yeah.
So that was what didn't hold up for me is I didn't like that section of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. For me, I was almost going to put it into gratuitous, but I'm going to put that it doesn't stand up. In the first film, when there were the attack scenes, there was a bit of the shaky cam and the quick cuts.
Yeah.
But I feel it did it really well. This one, it became like almost like the first Transformers film. It was hard to see what was actually going on. It was just like fast cut, shaky cam, fast cut, shaky cam. So the point where it's like, I don't think anything's actually happening. They're just moving the camera.
Yeah.
And the extras are just static. I don't know. It was too much and took me out of the movie.
Yeah.
It was overused. And then the other scene or part that didn't hold up was the night vision underground scene.
Oh, really? I like night vision shots.
If you are the only one that can see, maybe you should go first
Oh, most definitely.
instead of yelling, stop, stop, stop. It's like,
But then you don't get to see the people's eyes
yeah.
when you're like, that's the problem with it. You want to see it as spooky and
Right,
everybody
yeah.
looks spooky in night vision. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And especially the adults should maybe be leading the children.
yes, you wouldn't be putting the children out forward. Like,
You would.
Yeah. Well, they're loud and they.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I was like, do they not hear sound when we were recording our last
Right, yeah.
episode? Because I was like, they were so loud.
Well,
like,
Scarlett was yelling all the time.
All
They
the
were
time.
very loud.
yes. I was like, so they, yeah, okay, whatever.
Trying to sneak by. And
Yeah.
it was.
Then they whappity down the escalator. That was kind of funny.
Well, and everybody who gets attacked is screaming. Like there's guns going off.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it's not a very silent film.
no. Sam, what else doesn't hold up for you with this film?
Some of these are ones that we already talked about, like why they wouldn't wait till they cleared all of the city or
Yeah.
like that whole island for one. And then Chad, this kind of goes on with yours. I was going to between putting this in hiding in the shadows or putting it in what doesn't hold up. The dad using the pass card after he's been infected.
Yeah.
So is this them like evolving to become smarter? Because now he's able to stalk his kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
that what they were trying to get at with this? Is like, this is a new breed. It's smarter. They're evolving.
Or
Well, and I was
because-
wondering that. I was wondering that as well because one of my questions was: is the dad using the pass card to get into these areas? And
Yeah.
if he is, then why is he able to do that?
Yeah.
And is it because the mom is immune, she has altered the virus, I guess?
Maybe.
So part of the brain stayed? I don't know.
oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
it could be,
Yeah.
Could be.
but we don't know that, and they
Yeah.
haven't explained that.
Yeah.
So then
that's
we're
why
just-
that's kind of why I went with it doesn't hold up because like they could have had the doctor be like, oh my god, it's evolving or at
Yeah.
some
Yes,
point, and I would have been
something
like,
that.
oh,
yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like this was in between the two categories for me. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
All right. Well, the way the virus spread and altered them doesn't hold up. And sometimes the virus spreads a little too fast in these films. So let's get into our most gratuitous scene. And Chad, what was gratuitous for you in the film?
Well, mine was at the very end, just the daughter screaming, Andy, no, no,
Oh.
no, no,
Oh.
Andy,
Yeah.
no, no, no. And it just went on and on. And also, again, you're in an area where you don't know where these things are and you're being hunted.
Maybe don't yell at each
Maybe
other.
don't shout and scream and cry
Yep.
in a tunnel that carries sound.
Yep.
Like it
Yeah.
just didn't make.
Yep.
I was like, okay, and over and over and over and over and over again. So that was my most gratuitous for that one.
Speaking of the underground, why did they go underground? Like, did they explain why? It's like, hey, we could travel to Wembley overground, but let's not. Let's go down into the tube stations.
I don't remember if they explained it. I remember them just saying, get to the stadium.
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I remember too. Maybe it was the shorter way, or maybe that's how they knew to get to the stadium was by train. So they went
Okay. Yeah.
maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Again,
know.
one of those like bad decision juice, right? Like,
Yeah, don't go in the
We're
tunnel.
gonna go into the dark
pitch black.
subway.
yeah.
But
Oh, okay. That was more shadows. But for me, for gratuitous, the security camera views at the very beginning. And this goes to the whole, like, wasn't that room monitored? Because as the kids are getting dropped off and brought
Yes.
in,
Yeah.
it's just like security camera view, security camera view, security camera view. It's like, oh, this is tight. Like they are watching everything except for the one room
That has
where everything
yeah.
can.
20 different angles on this one area and then nothing anywhere else.
Nope.
It's like, well, we shut our budget.
And then my other gratuitous just mirrors the 28 days later, but it's Dawn blinding Alice.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was mine. I said it was wild, and I was like, that man did not love that woman.
No.
Like, not even slightly. Like if it wasn't,
That was rough.
Yeah, if you didn't tell from the first part where he was like, "See ya," and you really knew it when, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was after the weird like kiss scene and
Oh,
like
so much saliva.
the
But they-
slimy. I know they had to.
That was weird. Yeah.
yeah, I know they had to show the transfer, but I was like, that was like 5 to 6 strings of
Oh
saliva.
yeah, when
It was
they
stringy.
they
It was-
really did the close up on there. I wonder if they like added, I don't know, something in their mouth to make it that wet.
It was so.
it
wet.
was very
and she would have been dehydrated. Like
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
like,
So that
it
is
would have
all
been
his saliva.
Yes, just salivating it. A lot of-
oh my god. This gets worse and worse.
Well, that kiss definitely didn't excite us, but other things may have. Let's get to what was terrifying or titillating in this film. Sam, what do you have for this one?
I said nothing was titillating. There wasn't even a full frontal wiener in this one. And that, however, I said the opening scene is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
So at the cabin when they get overrun and like you could feel like I could feel my heart beating. I was like, that is absolutely terrifying. How fast they are, how quick they are, how quickly they like came down the hill and like
Yeah, that opening scene was good. I have more on it later. For me, I didn't find anything titillating. For what I found terrifying was when they're all locked in that room, when there's the outbreak and like they get locked in and safe, and then Dan gets in.
Yeah.
And the sheer panic is just, that would be horrifying.
Yeah.
And just the way the rage would just flow through that crowd.
Yeah, I had that and stood the test of time. I was like, having it and just the moment there when it clicks and the chaos ensues. Yeah.
So good. Chad, did you have anything for this category?
I liked the sex scene when the guy was looking through the scope.
Oh, okay.
Found that girl riding that dude, and I was like, all right, I think he probably would have hovered there a little longer.
Yeah.
But he just kind of chuckled and moved up. Yeah. The movie's terrifying, but I mean, that was the only thing that had any kind of sex. So I was like, all right, I'll pick that one.
Yeah.
and it is almost a trope of like that voyeuristic, we're looking in the apartment. So it's just like, which one's going to have the sex scene?
Yeah. It just goes from room to room to room. And
All right. So even after total collapse, some things in society do survive. Let's dig through the wreckage and find out what stands the test of time in this film. And I had only one, but it is in that opening scene where I really love the fact that they're gathering around the dinner table and it's completely dark and everything's lit with candles. So you assume it's nighttime. And when they open the door and it is blinding light.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Sam, what stood the test of time for you?
Some of these are just the same from the first film as well. I liked how fast they turned and I loved the eyes and I thought the blood looked pretty good overall.
Yeah.
I also loved the firebombing scene. I thought that was like, because it was kind of taken far away, but you could see it going and spreading and you can kind of imagine.
Yeah.
So I did like that too.
And like flowing between the buildings. Yeah, it was very well done. Yeah. Chad, what stood the test of time for you?
I liked the helicopter scene that I mentioned before, where he tilts down and then just mows them down.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. I agree with you both about the house.
Yeah.
And when they started to bust through.
Yeah.
And all the lights were coming in. They really did a good job of building that tension in there. Yeah. And everywhere they go, they're getting stopped. And then he gets out and he's just running and they are full sprint.
Yeah.
I always think when I look at this, what was that one with the rules?
The
Zombie Land.
Oh yeah.
I always think about make sure your cardio is up to because these things are just sprinting hardcore and he is just running full out for a long period of time. Like you would just be exhausted.
Oh yeah.
So pretty intense. So I thought all that stuff, the blood looks really good. And I love the look of the eye when he's infected but not infected.
Oh, the blood the blood capsules.
It just kind of moves in and then it just kind of backs out and it's bloodshot but not. And I really like that effect.
Yeah.
Sam, what else did you have that stood the test of time?
Just a couple of other things. Chad, you had a couple of the same ones. I agree. I also really liked the scene of the two kids driving the moped across Tower Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Like just going through and seeing how empty things were.
Yeah.
So I liked that. And then my last one was the containment one that you already mentioned before.
All right. Thank you. Sometimes horror movies are serious and sometimes they make us chuckle. Let's get into our laugh out loud moments. And none of us had one.
I don't think it was a very funny film.
No.
Yeah.
And even when they spoke in the downtimes, there wasn't anything that was funny.
No.
Yeah, there was no breaking of the tension in this one like we had in the last one.
No, it was go, go, go. They were in a constant chase.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel the tension. I feel like the first one really built that tension and really left that silence and stuff a little bit better than this one because I think it was that go, go, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was more action film than horror film. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so just on the mention of the silence and the tension that it built and the use of sound in the first one, let's talk about the sound of this one as we get into what was eerie or ear-splitting. I was the only one that had a comment on this one. And when we talked about 28 Days Later, we talked about that sort of, as Chad put it, that anthem that they had.
Yeah.
That motif that they used every time there was frenetic or attacking or frightful moments. I found this one used it too much.
Yeah.
It was maybe it's because there wasn't that silence to make it more poignant, but it just felt like this movie was noisy the whole way through.
They were
Yeah.
being chased the whole way through. So they played the anthem in the first one when they were being chased.
Yeah.
And so this one, they were being chased a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they just figured they needed to use it more.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good point.
Right. I found the overuse of the music was a bit jarring, and a few other things were as well for Chad. So Chad, what were your what the fuck moments?
My first one was you fucking left your wife.
Yeah.
Like when she turns and says, help me. And then he just books it.
Yeah.
Like he's out of there. I mean, I guess he looks back for a second, but then he's gone.
Bye.
Yeah. I even said this was for Shadows, but I'll bring it up now. But because I couldn't remember what happens with Robert Carlyle later in the movie. I'm like, I can't believe they made the main character a coward out the gate.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to care about this guy now?
Yeah.
I don't have to.
Yep. It
No,
makes us like
no.
him.
Yeah.
And did you have another WTF?
I did when the medic died. I
Oh,
was like, because I didn't remember that part, but when she gets attacked in the subway station,
Yeah.
I was like, what? She fucking dies? Like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do? Like, the only
Yeah.
people that make it are the kids.
yeah.
Who caused
And-
the whole thing.
And and they're like, we're the only ones left. And that kid's carrying the virus. It's like, Jesus, everybody's screwed.
Yeah.
Like after seeing this, I'm very interested to see how they catapult and do this next one.
Yeah.
Because it was wild. I had that. And then there was, leaving his wife, the medic's dead. And then I said, Doyle burning sucked.
Yeah.
I was so upset at that.
Yeah.
I was shocked as well because I thought it's Jeremy Renner. He's going to last. No.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. And he was taking him the whole way. And I was just like, him and the kids will make it.
Yeah.
At least.
Why did he leave the post? Like, why was he on the ground and not?
Because he didn't want to shoot them.
So he was just peacing out?
He was coming down. He saw those kids
Yeah.
and he went down to help them.
Oh, okay.
And
Got a drink
I
or
tell you,
something.
like, he really risked a lot, right? Because he got them to run. Well, he asked the one guy who wouldn't go, but run zigzag so he could shoot that guy.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not a marksman, so we'll be able to get him.
Yeah.
I was like, so you're going to kill the guy that you worked with? And
Yeah. And you're defying orders. You knew
Yeah.
what. Yeah.
it
Everyone
seemed a little bit much.
It was an instantaneous switch against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like his death, when Frank dies in 28 days, it hits, right? Like it's
Yes,
sad,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
tragic, it's shocking. Jeremy Renner getting out of the car to pop the clutch and then burning alive. Like, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? But it didn't have the emotional punch that I think it should have.
No, when he died, I was like, oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
But when Frank died, I was like, oh
Yeah.
Same.
no.
Same.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the speed of the film. We didn't have time to develop the emotional attachments, I guess. There was no cute moment camping at the ruins.
But that's the difference between an action film and a
Yeah.
horror film, or almost like a dramatic horror film
Yeah.
where it's drawn out and you're building those relationships so the audience is attached.
yeah.
When you're just going from action scene to action scene to action scene, I think it's a lot easier to not become emotionally invested in those characters.
Yeah.
For sure. While this was a good addition to the franchise or the series, we didn't find there was anything worth putting into our back it up moments. So we are going to move into the little details that left us with questions or left us with some different insights in our hiding in the shadows. Chad, what did you have hiding in the shadows for the film?
So during a code red, you lock people in a room and shut off the lights. Like, what is a good way to make people freak the fuck out?
Yeah.
And when you're like, okay, it's code red, we're going to put you all in here. We're going to shut off the lights and then, maybe lock the door, but not really. Also, why do they shower? The wife's name is Alice, correct?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Why do they shower Alice like Rambo in First Blood? Like
She's
they
being
get a fire hose. She's gone through a traumatic event.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd treat her a little more gentle.
Yeah. You like, where was the safety person in that scene?
No doubt.
Oh, she was that actually. I have notes on that, but I didn't put it in any of the categories. It was crazy. I was like, oh my
insane.
God.
She's
Yeah.
being scrubbed like very violently. They're hosing her down. She's like falling into the
Yeah. Screaming.
and a clear case too. Like
Yeah.
there's not. Yeah, it was. Those were my questions.
Expecting them to just like throw delousing powder on her after. And be
Yeah.
like, all right, get
There
your
you
clothes
go,
and get your
it
bunk.
burns. It's okay. Follow the yellow line.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, I
that
did
was
have
wild.
one more thing
FUBAR. Do people still use that? Like, I guess this was older, but like fucked up beyond recognition or whatever. It's like, oh man, this is FUBAR.
Yeah.
I heard that line and I was like, this doesn't hit like it did in, I don't know.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had something on that somewhere in here, but oh yeah. Yeah, I had it in my research actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so I might as well say it right now.
Yeah, please
Go
do.
ahead.
So this is, they said it over the radio. It was actually coined by the US military during World War II. And it first appeared in 1944, but it was popularized in the civilian lexicon when it was famously used in Saving Private Ryan. So that's kind of where, but I don't think it's used. I don't ever hear it being used. I had to look up. I was like, what does that mean? Like, but
No mention of the Calgary film FUBAR for popularizing.
That's
it? Or is
right,
it
yeah.
only popular in Calgary because of FUBAR?
wasn't popular enough for me. So
I've never seen FUBAR, so
Have you not?
no.
Oh,
I haven't either.
oh my gosh. Too bad it's not a comedy podcast. Yeah, I know that. I highly recommend it. The first one. I don't know about the second one.
Oh God, there's more than one.
There's
Okay.
two,
There's two.
yeah.
Okay.
The first one's good.
All right. For me, Hiding in the Shadows, I was actually really confused with the timeline because at the beginning we get like, the opening bit and then it's like the infection happened. 5 weeks later, this happened. 11 weeks later, this happened. 18 weeks, 24 weeks, then 15 days, then 28 days, then 35 days, then 77 days. Oh, there's a point to this. Then 126 days, then 168 days, then 196 days. And I was like, so is this 28 weeks later or is this 645 days later, right? Like the math doesn't work for me with this. And then at one point they even say like, this is so many months since the last confirmed infection or something like that. Like, but I'm like, well, that's still just as long or longer than 28 weeks later. So I didn't understand what that 28 weeks was referring to from the monkey bite or from the end of the 28 days, or is it all of those additions? Like it was just, I didn't get it.
I took it from the end of that first film. Like after that, it was 28.
So it's 28 days, then 28 weeks after that.
Yes. That's what
Okay.
I thought.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's only 6 months or 7 months. So that still seems long, or it seems like not long enough for the timeline they're trying to establish.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was like 28 weeks from the bite, from like
Okay.
the initial, like the first.
Yeah. The
Person.
chimpanzee. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was from there. And then, Chad, in your summary that you said, it was 6 months after the original
right.
epidemic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it was a weird, I didn't understand why they put like, it went weeks, then days
Yeah.
in the timeline. And then we get to the repopulation. And it's like, that still doesn't add up to 28 weeks.
Yeah.
So it was just weird. Okay.
I don't know. I saw numbers and I was like, cool. Like,
I would say I didn't really focus on that much, but yeah, that makes like now that you mention it, it's
Yeah. I didn't worry about, I didn't think about it until later when they said it's been so many months since the last
right.
moment. I was like, well, that timeline is weird.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I had, and this just frustrates me because even in the first one, the tower block that Frank and Hannah live in is actually on the wrong side of London from where they've been walking. And this one messes up geography as well. So the zone that they're in is the Isle of Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They cross from north to south across the Thames
Mm-hmm.
to get out of the quarantine zone. Then they get the scooter.
Yeah.
And then they ride the scooter across Tower Bridge.
Yeah.
And if you look at that shot, they're driving south across Tower Bridge. So they've gone south across the river. Now they've driven the scooter south across the river again. And then they drive past the Gherkin, which is north of the Thames. So it's like, there was just a few moments where it's like the geography's not working out. And little things like that bother me where it's like, it's not like you couldn't have shot it the other direction.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, this involved me on Google Maps zooming into the
dive.
bridge they were on. Yeah. Like,
That's funny.
yeah. Sam, what did you have hiding in the shadows?
We've kind of already talked about that. The incinerator system that they had set up, their waste disposal system as a whole from the biohazardous waste was questionable.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I didn't understand the evolving. Were they evolving, or like why was he going after his kids, kind of thing. So that.
And then my last one for this is this the movie that made the Marvel universe producers choose Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye? Because he is very good as just a sniper on a rooftop speaking into a comms unit.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. So even though this is a sequel, it might have been doing some things correctly. Let's get into Fright Done Right and see how this one holds up to others. And I think it's hard to have this conversation, one episode after 28 days later when we sort of talk through all of them. So I'll just say that like as a sequel, I think it does an okay job, but 28 days later was better for me.
Yeah.
In comparison. Yeah. Chad, what did you think?
Oh, I think the same. And I think your observation of it being an action film is right. Like, I think it was more of a chase kind of film than it was like we're building up and we're seeing these characters just develop and then we're losing these characters. I think it was just more, as an action film. And that being said, I think that 28 days later did it better. Yeah, I agree.
And Sam, what about you?
Yeah, same for me. What I thought about too when we were talking about the fast like zombies or infected, a movie that kind of came to my head, especially for this one, was World War Z.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you guys watch that one?
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm thinking of that is because they had the runners, like they had the quick zombies.
Yeah.
But they also had a lot, they were in the urban center and they also had the helicopter as well. So I just kind of remember those scenes. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And I can't really speak to which one probably did it better. I think the premise I like of 28 Weeks Later a little bit more. But yeah, I don't really remember enough to be able to compare the two. Do you guys?
I liked this one better than I didn't really like World War Z because I thought the zombies were too crazy.
Yeah.
They could jump off of buildings. They could build
that,
themselves up over a wall. Like they'd climb each other to go over walls and stuff like that. So I just thought it was a little too much.
Yeah.
And I was going to say for World War Z, the only thing I really liked was that sort of like a pile of ants against a wall,
Right.
where they built up to go. I thought that was cool and terrifying, but
it looked cool. Yeah. But I like these guys are mindless zombies who are just looking for food and they're, problem solving and like doing all these things that I just don't think they would be able to do.
No.
So.
And then I kind of also thought too of The Last of Us as well, with like, because they had the clickers, but then on top of that, they're kind of becoming smarter too, like throughout the series. So
I haven't started the second season yet.
Oh, spoilers.
That's okay. That's all right.
I've only watched one episode, if that makes you feel better, of the second one. So, but that seems to be the theory. So
okay.
But even the idea of keeping the survivor alive or the cure alive, right? That's all Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's a good point too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She's got the vaccine in her blood, so we have to do whatever it takes to make sure she's safe.
Yeah. And I'd say based on, I don't know, I kind of like Last of Us. For what I've seen, I haven't seen the second season, but for the first season.
I loved the first season.
Yeah, so
I thought it was awesome.
And I've only seen the first one, and I watched it last night, actually. So
and I'm only halfway through the second game. It's good. Like the game gives you more time to build the emotion. Same with the TV series, right?
Yeah.
So the connection is better. The expansion of the universe is good in the second series. So
okay, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. Like if this third one's gonna go back to kind of how the first one was, or if it's going to stay actiony. And I probably see it staying actiony if I'm serious, but
it's tough to say because looking at the trailer, there's a lot of horrifying visuals in the trailer, and it looks like there's almost a society that evolves. I don't know. I'm basing it just off of flashes because I haven't watched the second trailer. I only watched the one that has the boots poem.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anything. I want to go into this blind.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. But speaking of looking further into things and finding out some stuff, let's get into our bonus features. And Sam, what did you find as you researched this film?
In this particular film, I had mentioned in the 28 Days Later that it was typically athletes or people who were heavily involved in sports.
Yeah.
However, for this one, they did something similar, but all of the infected people actually came from movement backgrounds.
Oh.
So they had a history in dance, gymnastics, circus, or mime. And they ended up following workshops to learn more about the infected and what they were supposed to do. So they kind of focused on the visual arts acting type instead of just like runners.
Yeah. Interesting. And probably to get the more twitchy movement that they wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And I think for like when they're changing as well.
Yeah.
Or turning. Danny Boyle couldn't direct the sequel because of his commitments to Sunshine from 2007. And neither could any of the main actors from the first one because of other commitments too.
I'm going to jump in on that one because with Danny Boyle, he did do some second unit directing of this, and the opening scene with the cottage and Robert Carlyle, that was all directed by Danny Boyle.
Oh.
And I think that's why, like, when I look at this film, that is my favorite part of it.
Same.
And I think it's just, again, the way he tells stories through film is, speaks to that.
I would agree. And it is quite different than the rest of the film. Like, it really is. Like, if you compare that to the rest of the film, like, that's where, that was, like you said, the best part of the film.
Yeah. And even the color palette changes.
Yes.
Right? It becomes cold and blue. But I mean, we're going from rural to urban, but it's a distinct shift. And on the beginning, the boy who arrives at the cottage claims to be from Sanford. And Sanford is the name of a fake village that was used by British police to practice emergency preparedness drills. And it's also the fictitious locale for the action comedy Hot Fuzz.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Chad, what did you have for research?
Robert Carlyle had turned down the role of Major Henry West, played by Christopher Eccleston, in 28 Days Later in 2002. So he was supposed to be the military guy there.
I think Eccleston was a better choice. I couldn't see
I think so,
Carlyle
too.
delivering the
No.
I promised them women. He's too fatherly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a bit of a coward, apparently, in this.
As an actor, he's too fatherly.
Yeah. Farm that Don and Alice hide out in at the start of the film is the same farm that appears in Children of Men in 2006.
Another great movie. Sam, did you have anything else?
I just had a couple more here. I said the Millennium Stadium doubled for the interior of Wembley Stadium because at the time of filming, the interior of the newly built Wembley was still under construction. So they had to add visual effects to turn the seats red and to make the grass appear untended.
Okay, because I was wondering why the roof was a little different too. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's not actually Wembley. And then in the shooting script, it was actually Scarlett who's burned to death while trying to get the car started, and Doyle who was supposed to be beaten to death in the subway. They changed this last minute because they felt that killing Doyle first and leaving the children with Scarlett would create more tension for the audience. Leaving the children with Scarlett as opposed to Doyle makes them seem more vulnerable. So they actually were supposed to have flipped deaths.
So for the end of this one, it changed a bit from the intended one as well. It was supposed to end with just the shot of the parked helicopter in Wembley, but they decided that wasn't quite right. So 2 days before the locked off edit was supposed to be handed into Fox Searchlight for distribution, Juan Carlos and the producer Enrique Lopez and co-producer Bernard Ballou flew to Paris to shoot the scene with which the film now ends. It was conceived at the last minute by the director and writer, and was shot completely guerrilla style with only the 3 crewmen, 12 local actors hired on the day, and 1 camera. Sound for the scene was rapidly mixed back in London, and the shot was hastily added to the end of the film.
Wow.
And I think that's a better, especially like now with 28 years later, it opens it up. Whereas had it just been the parked helicopter, like we know they'd get out, something may come of it, but kind of like the ending.
I liked it too.
Yeah. And international titles, again, not great because it's, again, just translated correctly. But Brazil called it Extermination 2.
Oh, okay.
And Taiwan, 28 Weeks to Destruction, Global Lockdown.
Oh.
Yeah. Doesn't sit.
It's not right.
So is this film worth surviving for? Let's rank the risk of watching this one in our watchability scale. And I'll go first. It is good as an action film. It's fast paced. It keeps you entertained, keeps you captivated. As a horror film, I think other things do it better. So I'm going to give this one a 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's worth watching.
Kind of low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's worth watching to carry through the series.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're getting a third. But if there wasn't a third film coming, I think this could be skippable in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah. No.
Sam, what about for yourself?
I'm kind of waffling between the 6 and the 7 for this one. I gave 28 Days Later 8.
Yeah.
And it's because I love that first scene. And so I don't know. I love that part. I did enjoy watching it. I would recommend it. I think I'm going to go, you're making me think the 6 because you went 5, but then I was like 5's way too low in my opinion. But then you're right. It's not really like horror movie-esque. I'm going to give it a 7.
7?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 7.
And Chad, what about yourself?
That's where I'm going to land too. It's not as good as the other one, but I think it's worth watching. There are some really cool scenes in it, especially when Robert Carlyle kills his wife. I thought that scene was super intense, and the rage and the blood and the stuff that happens in that scene was crazy. I did enjoy it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it at a 7. I think it's worth checking out.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Thank you for that. And thank you all for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and a page where you can recommend movies you want us to discuss. And please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been Mike and
Chad.
and
Sam.
scare you later.